Prague continues on. It's the European Box Lacrosse Championships 2026. My name is Tino Farah, and we will turn our attention now to Switzerland facing off against Portugal. As Portugal is one of the few teams left in this tournament that has played just one game. That will no longer be the case anymore after this one. Their one game was a bit of a thumping. 18-3 was the loss versus Scotland. As you get a look at the green division right there. Scotland with a 2-0 record, and Switzerland, the team facing off against Portugal this evening, also with a perfect 2-0 record that's being put on the line. They took down Slovakia 14-11, and they took down France 14-9. They, alongside their head coach, Sean Evans, are going to put that record on the line and try to continue that off as you get a look at the lineups between these two teams. Take a look at number 30 for Switzerland. That will be their starting goaltender. Sven Beresville will be in goal for the Swiss. And at the other end, they've only got one goaltender on their roster. He wears the number 25, and his name is Sean Medeiros. They are going to need him to stand tall. As you get a look at his backside there, looks dialed and ready to go, as are the rest of us, as are the officials. And with that, we are underway from Prague. It's day 3 at the European Box Lacrosse Champions. Referees for this game: Daniela Heiser, Cameron Anderson, J.P. Portum, and the standby official is George Ruschel. Switzerland with the first possession of this game. They're going to work on the near side, and an early shot fought off nicely there by Medeiros. Big rebound that'll go all the way down, so both goaltenders get an early touch here as Sven Beresville will get that back up to his forwards. Chance for them to continue their early momentum. A quick tuck through to the inside. Joseph Holenstein passes through and make that another save for Medeiros. Rebound this time comes to the near wall. Batted ahead. Switzerland are forechecking and unable to hold that in the offensive side of center, but they are able to find possession again. And Portugal have not touched the ball, at least not in the back of their sticks just yet. Switzerland now will lean on Maximilian Suter. Tucks his shoulder, gets it back up top, however, to Holenstein, and the righty is getting some good motion for Switzerland. All sorts of traffic in front, but Portugal's Frank Voncancelos forces his man wide. Holenstein fires, and a glove stop to the stick side, and a nice one at that for Medeiros. Switzerland continue to just hang on to possession, controlling this game early. Patrick Brunner has made his way on. Holenstein. Short side rip, missed the mark. It'll bounce towards center, and Switzerland this time can't hold it in the zone. So finally, Portugal will have their first possession of the game in general. That's not just offensively speaking. They haven't touched the ball on the defensive side of center either, which means they have yet to test Beresville. Austin Kolish creating space in the middle. The righties are going to want it. Nunes has it. Pedro Nunes. Well, there's the first save of the game for Beresville. Just caught a piece of it with his arm. It was likely going wide regardless, as it remains scoreless through a little over 2 minutes of this one. Shot just missed, hard off the board. Switzerland will retain. 20 seconds still left on their shot clock. Plenty of time to make something happen here. Brandon Kunik helped get that over to the lefties, and Portugal will block a shot. Still up for grabs here, though, as it's batted high into the rafters. Somehow it stays in play. Dying seconds of this 30-second clock. Switzerland are going to be unable to get anything on goal. Almost took a delay of game call, but then a booming body check. No, the referees will say it hadn't been blown back in yet. So a hard cross check in on Luis Vancancelos, but He'll be rewarded for his efforts with a breather, and his team starting off already in this offensive zone. Brandon Peretta gets this far side. Justin Cruz back across now. Francisco Continue. And now this is Nunch again. Underhand feed to the back door. That missed the mark, and then Portugal called in the crease. Switzerland with a chance and room to clear this easily. No pressure from Portugal as Switzerland will cross center floor. A good stop up. Antonio Vonjakovsky. Righty strong for the Swiss. Vonjakovsky with a low rip. Stick save made by Medeiros, and he'll get that quickly into his stick. He wants that fast breakout feed, but the pressure is good from Holenstein. And I mean, I know we're only, 4.5 minutes into this game, but possession's got to be 95% in favor of Switzerland. A nice pick and roll, and that didn't make contact with Medeiros. Goes to the opposite side. The Swiss will keep. Here's Holenstein, winding, tucking, and he lost possession. Gets it back up, 2 to shoot. He'll fire a riser that sails over the goal. Pretty good showing here for Portugal, considering the fact that they've hardly touched the ball for this to be scoreless at this point. They can feel good about that, but they have to build on this. It can't just be content with mediocrity. They only have 3 goal scorers on the team so far from the 18-3 loss versus Scotland. They need some depth to start to step up. So Austin Kolish has a goal. Luis Vasconcelos has a goal. There's a nice save made by Berishville. And the third and final goal went to Justin Cruz. Patrick Shorey hunting after that loose ball. A couple of Swiss forecheckers hammer their man hard into the boards. The 10-second count was on for Portugal. Switzerland had it. Another stiff cross check. That'll knock down emphatically Erwin Tommen. But Swiss still have it. They're making a late change. Portugal's defense swarming. They dispossess the Swiss ball carrier, and now it's a fast break the other way, but good reverse transition from the Swiss. This is Hoser. Now Switzerland with yet another possession. Continues heavily in their favor. And seems to be that everybody is getting a touch on every possession. Brunner with a heavy release, handled well by Medeiros. Rebound falls to the near side. Portugal have room to be able to clear. And surprisingly, there's minimal pressure from the Swiss, with Portugal trying to break out of their zone as well, at least not until they actually cross over the center line. A nice swim to alleviate that pressure by Vasconcelos. This is Nunch. Delayed call coming up against Switzerland, and a nice shoulder stop by Beresville. Rebound behind the goal. Beresville tried to fall on top of it. Finally, he'll be able to collect, as that was bouncing dangerously in front of his crease. And now, somewhat shockingly, the first power play of this game is going to go to Portugal. An illegal substitution is going to be the call made by Cam Anderson. Got to have an interesting conversation pregame with Cam Anderson, because his father has been sending me some message throughout the duration of this tournament. I'm sure you're watching again here, Michael. Thanks for always checking in. Yes, we are all right after the hotel fire that went on in Prague last night, in case you missed it. But again, thank you for checking in. Very much appreciated. First chance to see this Portugal power play. Down to the corner for Nunch. Head up, he'll skip back, or at least try to, but it's intercepted. Now they can go the other way with numbers. A chance for Switzerland to open the scoring, short-handed, and a great stop from Medeiros with the right pad. Batted back between the Portugal defenders. It didn't actually cross over the center line. Regardless, a whistle, though, will bring us to our first hydration break. And the Portugal bench, they are fired up. They don't feel like there should have been a whistle in the first place. And truthfully, it is a little bit difficult to disagree with them from our vantage point. It didn't really look like that crossed the line, but it was close. This is a scoreless game. You know, we'll give the officials some slack here. I've been talking all week, I don't know what day it is here. I think I've been here for 5 or 6 days at this point. Everything is a blur. But again, it is an incredibly thankless job to be a referee in any sport, really. You're essentially taken to the floor or whatever surface every single game just to get yelled at by everybody. So if, you know, maybe a bobbled call near center floor is what there is to complain about, I think things are going pretty well. And the officials so far throughout this tournament have been doing an outstanding job, as we should all expect them to do going forward. Portugal remaining on this power play, coming out of the hydration break. Just over 5 minutes into this game, but it is Switzerland that are going to have possession to kick things off. Holenstein comes back around the high defender. We'll swing now over to the lefties. Holenstein going to play safety near center floor. Ends up as the right call because he's the next recipient. Now Holenstein. It's Portugal also leaving a safety man in front, and Tyler Cruz takes away a scoring chance. Now a bouncer across the floor. Lorenzo Amador. He'll stop up. Leaves for Cruz. Cruz the one-handed flip, and Portugal's got to hurry up here. They've just got 10 seconds left on this shot clock by the time they get settled. It's working around the top of the key. Now they'll start to move. Cruz, hands tied up, can't shoot yet. A twister on goal, and a nice stop made by Beresville. Dropped down to his knees. A creative effort from Cruz, but not his A option in terms of his shot selection. Holenstein takes a peek up at the scoreboard, sees 18 seconds left in this penalty. Joseph Holenstein. There's that heavy release again. He loves to shoot the rock and throws his body around as well. It's loose, and this is going to be Portugal possession, whether or not they pick it up. The shot clock will go, and now some pushing and shoving in front of the Portugal bench. That was Ethan Warlow. Looked like he was getting into it a little bit, initiating that contact. The roster size between the two teams is significantly different. On my roster sheet in front of me, Portugal just has 18 players listed. Switzerland, I mean, they're not dressing all 23, but have 23 names available as that ball will make its way up into the booth. I can't quite show off my hands just as we saw in the previous game from my broadcast partner, Andra Gieshow. Another ball that came up here with minimal protection up here in the booth. It was good to have a color commentator who has those quick hands to be able to catch that down. Play on, 6.5 to go. Long stretch feed. Portugal wants to slow things down. Mateo Fernandez takes a peek back towards his bench. Has to deal with a trail check, and now he's sandwiched between two Swiss defenders. Still with it, though, is Fernandez. Able to get it, but now Portugal just has 3 forwards on the floor by the time they're able to change, and that had a chance to go. Another nice save by Beresville. And what's the call here? So the referees are making their way over towards the benches. Not sure if any team called a timeout. I mean, they must have. I guess it's Portugal, just based on how things appear to be going here, but unless there's a player down on the bench. We did see some problems yesterday with somebody going down due to heat exhaustion. It is not time yet for, okay, so Portugal is going to call a timeout. I guess that's what the call is going to be. And remember, they're still about a minute away from another timeout just from the media break in general. Each team gets one first half timeout. They get another one in the second half, and Portugal will burn theirs early on in this game with 6:07 left on the clock. I will say I am a little bit anxious just with this heat, you know, when there does seem to be an abrupt stoppage and then everybody looking over between the benches, just considering the fact that a couple of players went down yesterday hard on the bench due to some heat exhaustion. I will admit I am a little bit anxious about something like that happening again. I don't know if the graphic is gonna come up on the screen at any point, but on occasion you'll see a graphic comes up that talks about the temperature, the humidity that everybody's, there it is, right on cue. The best in the business, man. 36 degrees right now, and we're in the indoor arena, keep in mind. There is some ventilation here. Of course, 2 outdoor venues here going on at the European Box Lacrosse Championships directly in the sun. It doesn't get any easier whatsoever. So the stoppage does appear to be continuing over at the Portugal bench. Hopefully everybody over there is all right. I can see one of the tournament volunteers appears to have left and come back with something. I mean, it's hard to tell from here what it is. And now they're making their way into the Swiss dressing room. And I think a trainer is going to make their way over there as well. So there may be some sort of an injury going on with Switzerland. Again, a little bit unclear over here, so apologies for the lack of clear messaging. Just trying to relay anything that comes my way over to you as quickly as it does. Should say as well, to get this in right away, make sure you follow along across the social media channels, most specifically the European Box Lacrosse Championship Instagram right there, at the top left of your screen. Follow along, you'll catch all the highlights. We've seen some highlight reel goals today specifically, but all throughout the tournament, and the camera crews here, the social media crews catching every second of them. So you get a look at the tournament leader in points. Sam Postma of Slovakia played in the game just before this one. I mean, I think he finished with 7 goals. It might have been 8 by the end of it. And I think he came into that game with 9 on the tournament so far. Pretty outrageous stuff from him. 1 assist as well, so he does know how to pass the ball. But some of the goals he was scoring, most specifically the last one where he went through 3 defenders just swimming and swimming and spinning and shooting. It was a pretty one. And I wonder now, I mean, maybe there's an issue with the gate. Here's actually a look at the Postma goal. Yeah. I mean, we probably played that replay 6 or 7 times in that game, and I still don't think I'm tired of seeing it. He's basically doing parkour at that point. Just unbelievable stuff. So I think I have come to the conclusion that it is a gate issue. You can see over there just kind of on, I mean, the middle left of your screen, there's a volunteer over there trying to work with the Portugal doorman. And it looks like maybe the gate has been a little bit sticky. Maybe it's been a little bit hard to open. And just getting the audio cue there. The handle appears to be a little bit looser, and the officials seem like they are content with whatever that solution was. And now, after a lengthy delay, we're ready to get back. I mean, there's 6:07 left in this quarter. That break probably took about 6 minutes itself. Scoreless between Switzerland and Portugal, and it will be the Swiss with possession, as they've had for the vast majority of this game. Brunner tries to skip through some defensive sticks. Hard to get back after it after a lengthy break, but you got to find a way to keep your legs loose. And Brunner puts that shot off of a Portugal stick. They'll pick it up and turn and burn. Get their way into the offensive zone. Okay, well, a message coming in. Shout out Alan McLucas. goaltender for Scotland, sending me a message. That same gate broke in their game yesterday as well. Okay, so my suspicions were confirmed. And Portugal will open the scoring. A nice move in tight, and they're not done yet. Some chirping after the finish, and Portugal, having just scored 3 games in their European box across journeys in 2026, have 1 on the board here against Switzerland. Far too open. I mean, call that a defensive miscue, and call that maybe the understatement of the year. That's Owen Varlow. And he's able to just outreach the stretching Sven Beresville. And that's part of having a goaltender that hasn't seen a ton of shots in the opening stages of this game. Maybe you get a little bit cold despite the fact that you're into this game the same amount of time. And now there's a couple of sticks at center floor that were attached by their shooting strings. They've now been cut loose. And on the faceoff violation, possession back to Portugal, and a chance now to double up on their lead. Owen Varlow with the first goal of this game, finally. He's not on the floor for this one. It's Cruz, skips it across. Callisto will get it back over to the righties. Swiss trying to cheat up the floor. They got 2 defenders going up, and Portugal will take advantage. There were 2 less defenders. You're basically playing with a 5-on-3, and Portugal now is up by 2. It was a defensive miscue on the last one, and you can call this a communication error. Cruz catches Beresville down on a knee and puts it into the upper echelon of the goal for the 2-0 lead. Now here come the Swiss looking for an answer. Next whistle will bring a media timeout and a chance for everybody to regroup, but there's a delayed penalty coming up against Portugal. Beresville onto the bench for the extra attacker. Brunner comes on as a result. He's going to make his way behind the goal, an option for the dunk. Now with possession, he's going to try to wrap it around, and the save will be made by Medeiros. Portugal will touch up, and that will bring the penalized player to the sin bin. Now the question is, who is it going to be? There's the slow walk over, just waiting to see a number. Portugal, one of the rare teams in this tournament with no numbers on their arms. Tough to see from that angle walking towards the goal. In all honesty, still not entirely sure the number of the player. Regardless, it will be Switzerland on the power play for the first time in this game. And a heavy shot from Brunner. Expect more of that this game. Hohenstein is also on this power play. He can shoot too. Hohenstein's going to cut, and he's going to backpedal away off ball. Brunner at the point. Hohenstein wiring on goal. Check that. It goes off of a defensive stick. Forecheck for Switzerland, proving costly against the Portuguese. They'll get the fresh 30 already in the offensive zone, still trailing by 2. Hohenstein to Brunner, telling everybody what he wants to see here on the power play. And he's going to keep the ball in the hands of the lefties. Don't be shocked if you see a shooter come from the near side. Brunner is going to make his way through, and another stop at point-blank range by Sean Medeiros. Having himself quite the start to this one. The Swiss fans up behind their bench, letting their team hear it for the efforts, and that's going to be a 10-second count against Portugal. And with that whistle, it'll bring us to our first media timeout of this game. We'll take a quick breather, and when we return, Switzerland will try to get within 1 on the power play. Just in time before we get back underway in Prague. 2-0 is the score you're looking at in favor of Portugal, but they're down a man right now for the next 53 seconds. Switzerland desperately trying to open the scoring here on the power play, despite the fact that they have had all sorts of chances in this game. Nothing to show for it, at least not yet. Brunner has been on the point of this power play all tournament long. He stays there while he drives his high defender through. Holenstein across to the lefties, a hard shot, fought off nicely by the netminder. It'll ricochet all the way down the floor. Oh, how did that? The play is going on. Oh, did that go off the outside of the goal? That looked like it went into me. Okay. Well, regardless. Weird circumstances here in Prague. Brunner, as the power play winds down under 10 seconds. Holenstein wants the one-timer, scores! Finally, they break through. A beautiful pass from the point finds the stick of Nikolai Reber, who makes no mistake from the corner. Take a look at Holenstein. Oh, and it's almost picked off through the middle by Tyler Cruz. That's got to be about a centimeter away from being an intercepted pass. You can't even see Reber on the screen there. He's just off to the left of it. And he pots that home. The Swiss cut the lead down to 1. And now back to even strength. Portugal with it in the final 2:15 of this high-flying first quarter. A brief stoppage with a damaged gate, but since then, these teams have been going. A nice one-touch pass. Here's Holenstein, one defender to beat. He drops his shoulder and get past. Holenstein scores! 2 straight for the Swiss, and we're all tied up in the first. You could just feel that it was going to be a matter of time before Josef Holenstein found the back of the net with how he's been flying in this opening quarter. That's his 9th goal of this tournament. Able to get a little bit of height, but he's already got the size advantage on Medeiros. Now Portugal in a position where they need to respond. But the ensuing face-off goes the way of the Swiss. And they'll be able to pick things up. Here's Suter. Finds topside. Second defender slides towards him. Good pass across, and that hit a defender in front. Now picked back up. Thomas Schur. Four seconds left. The Switzerland bench trying to get somebody to shoot the ball, and they're not going to be able to do it in time. Remember, we're in the, or almost in the final minute of this first quarter. Portugal have already used their first half timeout. Actually, now that I refresh my memory, that may not have been their timeout. That may just have been from the gate. And Switzerland takes the lead. Brandon Kunik. 3 straight goals for the Swiss, all of them coming in the blink of an eye. And now they're in the driver's seat, where they have been for so much of this tournament. And Kunik had a man going to the goal with him. He says, that's all right. I got this one myself. Able to beat Medeiros between the legs. Portugal want to tie this game, falling forward but getting back up all in one motion. Mateo Fernandez. Second shot didn't get through. Into the final minute here. Portugal have some options available at the outside. Pedro Nunes slowly backpedaling away. This is Cruz. He has a goal in this quarter. Cruz was none too pleased with that passing option. Frustrated as he gets back to the bench. Chance now for the Swiss. Looked like they wanted a quick shot. Maybe wanting the 2-for-1. Doesn't really feel like they need to burn their timeout yet, though. Now Portugal will bobble it. Still 10 seconds to go. That's enough time for Switzerland if they want. And they are going to get a chance with 5 seconds. Medeiros will slide to his left and keep his team within one. What an opening quarter here. Portugal at 1 point. Up 2-0 before Switzerland potted home 3 straight to close out this first frame. Thanks for joining us here. Another edition of the European Box Lacrosse Championships live in Prague. Back with more when we return. There's a look at your first quarter scoring summary, which sees Switzerland up 3-2 after trailing 2-0 versus Portugal. Justin Cruz and Owen Varlow got the opening goals for the Portuguese before a power play goal from the Swiss. So you can see the advantage there, 1-for-1 versus 0-for-1 for the Portuguese. Low shot totals, according to our statisticians, just 3-2 in favor of Switzerland. But Medeiros has been busy through 15 minutes. Don't expect that to change anytime soon. And welcome back inside the arena, ladies and gentlemen. Tino Ferry here. Happy you're joining us in a brand new quarter. Chance for his second, wrapping it around the goal. But Nikolai Raber could not beat Medeiros. And I mean, I will say guilty here, so I could be a little bit wrong, colorblind, but the mask or the cage of Medeiros over to my right, it looks like it's blue from my angle, which is, I don't know, a nice little bit of detail there. I don't hate it. Portugal at the other end trying to tie this game at 3. The longer this game goes on, of course, I mean, you're going to hear all of the broadcasters, all of the players talking about the heat and the exhaustion, and rightfully so as this tournament goes along. But with Portugal having a smaller roster available to them compared to Switzerland, the exhaustion may play an even bigger factor for them as they have less resources available to do battle against the Swiss. Still with it, but unable to control it. That deflects into the Swiss bench, dangerously close to Sean Evans. Chance the other way, but a little too hot to handle was that pass. Luis Vasconcelos couldn't handle it. Now it's a breakaway the other way for Switzerland. Scores 4 straight Switzerland goals. This time they get one from the captain. Stefan Zweifel just gets that over the shoulder of Sean Medeiros. All sorts of room to make up his mind, but no overthinking here from the Swiss captain. There's a good look at the Medeiros mask. I mean, the previous angle at least. And sometimes there's no fake needed. No need to overthink it. Just keep with your bread and butter. And I will say, as a defenseman myself, I mean, anything that goes under the bar is a pretty shot in transition. The defenseman's special while on a breakaway is to just close your eyes and hammer it 5-hole as hard as you can. Oftentimes, whenever I'm playing in the senior C ranks back in British Columbia, it's all I'm thinking to myself. Don't shoot 5-hole. Don't shoot 5-hole. And guess where I shoot? Portugal now trailing by 2. Another turnover in their own zone. Maybe another breakaway chance for the Swiss, absorbing the contact, and a great save by Medeiros. Rebound falls to the front of the crease. Portugal can corral it. Best save of the game by far for Sean Medeiros. Francisco Coutinho. Across as Portugal will make a slow change to get their forwards on. Brandon Peretta with a hard fake. Telegraphed his pass. That's intercepted rather easily by Mikael Hoser. Numbers again for Switzerland. Scores. Make it 5 straight. The Swiss are off to the races. I mean, what more can you ask for from Sean Medeiros? It's the captain of Switzerland once again. Zweifel once again able to get that just under the bar. And now Portugal will use their first half timeout. So that does confirm the suspicions from the first quarter that the break was just because of the broken gate. Dare I say swollen gate. I feel like that's probably the issue. And now they're going to burn their first half timeout. And, I mean, it's hard to blame them at this point. They're a few minutes away from the hydration break where they can re-energize, rehydrate, and so on and so forth. They're going to be able to do that a little bit early here. And, you know, you can see their coach on the bench talking to everybody right now. And I have to imagine the messaging is just, let's relax a little bit. Don't need to play so frantic, but let's take care of the ball, especially in the offensive zone, and no more of these telegraphed passes. This Portuguese team, they're here for a reason. Trying to prove themselves, and they had a good start to this game. Oftentimes, the difficult part of that is following it up with more. But since that 2-0 lead, it's been 5 straight for Switzerland, and you can see the shooting percentage. It's just slowly moving more and more in favor of Switzerland, the more success they're finding, now up to 31%. I mean, face-offs are dead even, ground balls are close, penalty minutes are dead even. Now the shots up on board are 16-7, so a little more accurate there. That is really the big difference with Portugal trailing behind. But you got nothing to lose here other than the game itself. Just go full steam ahead, and the captain can't beat Medeiros that time around. That close to a hat trick, all in the span of under 5 minutes. He's going to stay out, knocked down from behind. He's going to draw a loose ball push. A well-deserved breather from him on the Switzerland bench. They'll start off already in the offensive zone. Here's Joseph Holenstein. Raber able to swing that to Brunner. He'll hammer that in on Medeiros, and no rebound to be had for that one either. Medeiros needs someone to pass to. They've just got 1 second to get it over the center line, and they're not going to be able to do it. Those are the mental mistakes that may come back to bite Portugal. Clock awareness, always a big factor as this game goes on. And Medeiros able to fight that off, punches the rebound over to the corner, and here comes the Swiss forecheck. Ball is loose, into the air. Nobody has possession yet. Finally, it's Portugal. Switzerland will take this on their own side of center, however. And look out. Oh, that one almost came into the booth. Shout out to Raber. Got his stick up in front of my computer. I think I owe him a drink. Holenstein swings across. That goes back over center. if there's anybody listening that are, or people listening that are fans of Team Switzerland, make sure you get the message to Nikolai Raber that he may have just saved my laptop. Medeiros able to squeeze that up against his body. 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. Long bomb forward, a dangerous pass, but continue will find it. Or Coutinho, excuse me. Continuing to pressure. Switzerland has everybody in position to be able to break free of that. Mikhail Hoser across the floor. They got a man open on the crease, and Medeiros got the shoulder up in time. It was a crease violation regardless against Patrick Shorey. So it wouldn't have counted regardless. But the smaller in stature Sean Medeiros still able to leap up and get the shoulder to take away that top corner. Portugal still has to get a fifth forward on. Now they do. I don't know if they've really realized that the play is on. 13 seconds left on this shot clock, and they're nowhere near the middle of the floor. Now it's down to single digits. It's almost as if they're trying to lull the defenders to sleep. Shot clock winds down to 3. Do they even realize it? I don't think so. And now a whistle. I mean, maybe that's all they were trying to do, is just get to the break. Have to assume that. They finally get to their hydration break and will get that drink of water. Again, well-deserved as Portugal trails 5-2 against Switzerland. And I say well-deserved in the context of all of these athletes that are playing throughout this weather. And it's still, from what I've heard, not even the hottest that the temperature is going to get. From everything I've been told, tomorrow, Sunday here in Prague, is supposed to be the hottest day before the weather takes a bit of a turn throughout next week. There's some rain coming up on the forecast, certainly some lower temperatures, some cloud cover. I myself, as somebody from British Columbia and am new to Prague, and specifically here when talking about Radotin, I am so excited to see what that environment looks like if it does rain. I'm sure some people, the players most likely, would disagree. I can't imagine they want to play on the turf. But just for the visual, I cannot wait to see a couple of nations do battle on a lacrosse turf while it's raining. It's almost as if you go to see an outdoor concert and it starts raining. You know, sure, the soaking wet clothes and maybe you're a little bit chilly. Maybe that's a little uncomfortable, but you're going to leave with some stories. And those pictures, they're going to look pretty darn cool. Back underway. 5-2, Switzerland leading through about a quarter and a half. Distance shot from Holenstein. That didn't get through. Maybe a chance now for Portugal trying to catch up to this rolling ball is Warlow. He had Holenstein backtracking. And Holenstein looks like I might have tripped over the line. Still just 3 seconds left on the shot clock. That goes off the outside of the glove. And they weren't gonna reset the shot clock. They don't reset the shot clock. That's a lucky break for Portugal because Switzerland was about to go swarm the ball again. And you can just see every time Portugal gets to the bench, I mean, some guys are taking their helmets off, everybody hunched over, just gassed and hoping for any kind of break that they can find. There's the first touch in a while for Swiss netminder Sven Beresville. Errant pass, but the Swiss will keep it. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. 8.5 minutes left in the half. Brunner, a low shot, wide of the goal, back over. Every one of these bounces are a massive benefit to Portugal. The less that they have to run the floor, the better off they're going to be. And the fact that this game is still within 3. I mean, sometimes it just takes one. You know, rather than looking at this as needing 3 to try to tie this game, just try to stack the wins. It's been a while since a goal from either side, really. The last one was the second of the game for Stefan Weisful, or Svivel, excuse me. But we are still on that 5 straight goal run for the Swiss. Here's Cruz, scored a goal in the first quarter, trying to protect his stick. Didn't see an option, so he'll put the backhand towards the goaltender. Picks that up nicely, throws it straight up to the Swiss captain. Zweifel sees an open man, they score. The Swiss continue their run. It's now up to 6 straight. As you get a look, the captain will get another point. So he gets the assist. Jamie Burkhardt with the finish. Elevating enough to give himself another angle on Medeiros, but still puts that between the legs of the Portuguese goalie. Portugal hollering for a delay of game penalty. There was a Swiss player that kicked that down the floor. It was Erwin Tommen. But again, I mean, that's a kick that once again benefits Portugal, putting it deeply into the corner. It's working it around the perimeter, and very perimeter appears to be their game plan right now. Some fans getting pretty excited above the Swiss bench. Now Portugal wants to at least try to get to the goal. Nunch flips, shot that goes out of play. Did that deflect? No, just cleanly out of the stick of the Portuguese shooter. Now Beresville will start off the transition. Tommen. It's Terrier. Here's Suter. Now the Swiss will work it around, and there's a penalty coming up to Portugal, and they're not gonna need the power play. Switzerland make it 7 straight, and this time it'll be Thomas Shore gets into the fun. You'll see right to the right of your screen, sort of in the middle, the Portuguese defender's got his arm in the midsection of Terrier. That penalty will be wiped off. Switzerland does have a power play goal in this game. They are 1 for 1. Portugal also have an opportunity under their belt, but they were unsuccessful with it. Now a hard hit, Zweifel, and then another collision that knocks down the Portuguese forward, Francisco Coutinho. And I struggle to say defenders and forwards here for Portugal. I think everybody kind of doing a little bit of everybody. Coutinho has gone out the front gate a little bit, now appears to be going out the defensive side. Cruz is stuck playing a little bit of defense now. Switzerland with numbers, scores. Holenstein leaps up through the crease again. They may have found the book on Medeiros. And Holenstein will pick up his second. Nice pass from Shorey, but the hands right here. You wouldn't necessarily expect, with how easy these athletes make it look, to be able to contort your body like that while you're in the air, while you're across, like you're on the far side of the goal at that point and you're shooting back where you just came. It is not as easy as one might think. But so many of these guys here at the Euros make it look super easy. There's a nice knockdown pass. Portugal able to draw a loose ball push, or excuse me, it was a back over. Looks like they actually might have gotten away with a loose ball push, but the ball had already crossed the center line. Pedro Nunch. Nunch is one of the guys for Portugal that can fill the back of the net. But they will once again just play pass around the outside. Nunch comes over to set the screen. With the shot is Austin Kolish. Or at least he wants the shot. He's on his wrong side. Forced wide into the corner. Still with it somehow. He's going to wrap it around in front. He shoots, he scores! Kolish goes all the way, doing a full lap of the offensive zone and gets that over the shoulder of Sven Beresville. The run is over. The deficit is still 5. Portugal can now try to build on this. They've found their opening, and if you are going to play all the way around the outside, and if your defenders are going to take a shift off, I mean, the middle of the floor is wide open. If you can beat a man one-on-one, there's your opening. Austin Kolish wears the number 20 for his home country. Finally breaks the stalemate for Portugal. Now trailing 8-3. Medeiros makes a shoulder save. Ball falls down to the floor. Holenstein picks it up, looking for Terrier in front. Portugal almost had a chance on a break, but Raber will take that chance away and slow down the offense. 20 seconds remaining on this shot clock. Chance to go to the middle. Bounces early and out of play. Medeiros will play it from his crease. Five minutes remaining in this first half. Now a delayed penalty coming up, I believe, against Switzerland. Oh, the goaltender started to vacate to the bench, has to scramble back and make a save just in time. That was dangerously close. There will be a holding call. That's going to go against Switzerland, and now Portugal will have their second power play of this game. Yeah, that's as clear as day. If you take your hand off your stick as a defender, there's about a 90% chance that you are about to get a holding called against you. Kolish has the latest Portugal goal. He's at the point. Cruz to his left with the ball. Cruz gets it back up top. Starts to walk his way over. Noosh gets it to the corner. Now it's back in his possession. Underhand feed up top. 4 seconds to shoot. They will, and it's in! 2 straight for Portugal. They're right back in this game. The lead is cut in half. Maybe not your typical power play goal. I don't think anybody realized this was in the net. Oh, it hit the crossbar, then the goaltender, and in. Wow. Tough one for Switzerland, and a friendly bounce for Portugal right before the media timeout. What a run they've found themselves on now, 2 in a row and trailing by 4 against Switzerland, continuing to try to come back in this game when we come back. Final 4.5 minutes here from Prague. It's a matchup in the green division, if I'm not mistaken, between Switzerland and Portugal. And look out for Portugal as you get a look at the 2 goaltenders and their stats so far. Medeiros has been the busier of the 2 and has the save percentage advantage. Makes another save right on cue there. But for what it's worth, at the other end of the floor, I mean, when called upon, Sven Beresville has been good as well. A bit of a weird one that got past him on the latest power play goal for Portugal. But just chalk that up as a Portuguese bounce. Now Switzerland behind the goal. The dunk may be available. Brunner has it, avoids the crease. Holenstein on his wrong side, bounces it, and it's a stick save. Medeiros jumps on top of that. The art of time wasting, trying to get his team as much of a breather as possible in absolutely no rush to pick that ball up, and he'll launch this over center. Noosh spins away. Portugal's got to be careful with those gates open at their bench. Some dangerous injuries have happened in that exact scenario. Deflected pass while back checking for Francisco Coutinho. Able to reach out and make the play on it. Terrier looking for Shorey. That didn't work out. Chance now for Moritz Ziegler. He can't make a play on it either. Now Coutinho. Chance to run. Switzerland, they want to double the ball, as made clear by the conversation from their bench staff. Now Noosh. Pressured in the corner. Minimal time available. Cruz wants the ball. Well, they sent it towards him, but he wasn't expecting it. Knocked away regardless. Here come the Swiss. Holenstein's been out there for a while. Enough left in the tank to lead a 2-on-1. A bounce pass and a stick save. Medeiros once again leaps out. It's not too often you see a bounce pass on a 2-on-1. It's the creativity of Holenstein. I know Garrett Gosshorn is a big fan of Holenstein for Switzerland. Actually, I think there's a few people on our broadcast production and behind the scenes crew in general here in Prague that are a fan of him. Brian Whitmer, one of those guys. Now Switzerland with it once more. Patrick Shorey. Raber was available, but the pass went across to the righties. There's the forechecking pressure of Switzerland again. They'll take possession away, and they can have numbers here if they're quick, but they want to slow it down. Hoser. He'll get that up before changing. Pass through the middle to Brunner. Couldn't connect with him. Kunik. Now back to the near side. That'll bounce hard off the glass. Still time left on this shot clock. His body's crash and bang into the sideboards. Shot through by Holenstein, and flashy save by Medeiros as he's swimming in his crease looking for that ball. 46 seconds left until halftime. We'll throw that all the way up to Pedro Noosh. Looking back to center floor, yeah, the exhaustion is so clear for Portugal. Another odd man rush for the Swiss off the crossbar. Still with the rebound though, and a chance for another one, and another save by Sean Medeiros. Medeiros walking out of his crease. The shot clock is off. The 10-second count still remains. Lobs this down. Switzerland will call timeout after having just intercepted that pass. And that's a wise move from Switzerland's bench. Use it or lose it. Those first half timeouts do not carry over into the second half. So if you're not going to bother, then it's a wasted timeout. If I saw correctly, 14 seconds is all that remains in this opening half. And remember, after, what was it, an 8-goal run for Switzerland? The last 2 have come from Portugal. So if Switzerland can get back to their scoring ways in these dying seconds of the second quarter, it's a completely different feeling heading into your respective dressing room compared to if you're going in there, yes, with the lead, but after having given up the last 2 straight goals. You got to look there at the game leaders. Holenstein with 3, Kunik with 3, and the captain as well, Zweifel, with, all those being points, I should say, with 3 points. Zweifel's got 2 goals. He's 1 away from his hat-trick marker. Net is empty for Switzerland. Swing over to Raber. They go behind the goal. They want the dunk, and It's read by Medeiros. He's got time for the empty net if he wants it. It's down the floor. It's in! A goalie goal at the Euros. Medeiros will fire that directly into the yawning cage, and Portugal is within 3. We have seen it all on day 3 of the European Box Lacrosse Championships. That man right there, Sean Medeiros, has been the best player for Portugal. Now we can say that as both a goaltender and a goal scorer. The risk of an early shot turns into that. How many times has he practiced? Target practice, I'm sure, at the end of sessions with his team before practices start. I mean, that is as good as it gets. And you talk about the different feeling for Switzerland going into their dressing room. Now things feel a little bit sketchy in that they've given up 3 straight, including one from a goaltender. For Portugal, they can be probably thanking their lucky stars, but also breathe a sigh of relief of, you know, guys, we're in this. We're in a 3-goal game through 2 quarters, and even our goalie is contributing. As you take a look at the scoring summary through the first half, a lot of depth getting it done on both sides. And more of that, Sean Medeiros with the latest goal. That is just hilarious. Maybe we'll see another one. Who knows? This game seems like it's going to have a little bit of everything. But Switzerland leads 8-5 over Portugal at halftime, and the second half is going to come up when we return. Well, hopefully you've made your way back towards your screens because we got a big second half coming up between Switzerland and Portugal. Switzerland with the lead, 8-5, but look out for Portugal. 3 straight goals to cut the lead. Not to mention the goalie goal, which we saw in the final seconds of the first half, courtesy of Sean Medeiros. Remember I said at the top of this broadcast that Portugal, having, yes, only played 1 game so far in this tournament, and it was an 18-3 loss versus Scotland. But, of course, with that scoreline, Medeiros allows one through in the opening minute. Switzerland will end the Portuguese run on a nice individual effort by Brandon Kunick. I'll finish that point in just a moment so we can quickly break down and analyze this goal. It doesn't always have to be the prettiest, but that's just too easy. 1-2 passes, and then Kunick is easily able to get down underneath of the defender. That's just not a gap that can be there. It's the #1 rule as the low defender. You cannot get beat underneath, and Francisco Coutinho lets his man walk right in front. But just to finish that previous thought, only 3 goal scorers for Portugal coming into this game. Now Sean Medeiros can add his name to that list, which is both incredible and hilarious in different ways. So congratulations to Sean Medeiros. Now Portugal, they want to answer back, and a good trail check. Oh, it trickles towards the line and just stayed out. Oh, that was close. But it will remain 9-5 for the Swiss. And as this game goes on, you're already going to see it here from Portugal, playing more of a zone defense than any kind of a wall or any kind of a man-to-man. And with the limited numbers they have available, the heat that continues to play a factor, it's very easy to understand why that is. Hard hit into the boards, and the goaltender's getting into the mix as well. Knocked down, and this might get a little bit ugly. It's Brunner now throwing his weight around. So there's going to be a penalty on any of this. There is a referee right there, and now finally Sven Beresville will come over to pull Brunner away from the Portuguese forward. We haven't seen a ton of fireworks yet in this game. That was Frank Vasconcelos. I mean, to be fair, Beresville did kind of initiate that himself. I keep hearing some Switzerland fans above their bench. They're like building up. It's like they're building up their anticipation with whatever's going on. Well, here's a chance for the captain now to complete the hat trick, and he's robbed. Closing the legs at the last second. Sean Medeiros with another save. It just looks like they're cheersing each other, the Swiss fans. But I think that's the second or third time. You can just see them right above the bench there. There's a bell over there, and everybody's got a drink in their hands. Having a good time here in the heat, and there's another one for Holenstein. Just inside the post. Switzerland have come out into the second half on the right foot. Oh, Medeiros actually got a piece of it. Just not quite enough. Now Switzerland up to double digits. Portugal has been holding their own at the face-off dot, thanks in no small part to Mateo Fernandez. He's able to win this to himself. Now he needs someone to pass to. Looks up and sees Francisco Vasconcelos. Vasconcelos, pressure from behind. Gets it up to Noosh. One hand on his stick. Hard screen set by Coutinho. Noosh off the outside of the netminder's glove. Loose ball picked up, and now the Swiss have numbers. It's another 2-on-1. Both go to their wrong side, though. Pass in front into the midsection, and a shovel shot. It goes wide of the goal. 2 defenders going up on a 2-on-1. One left-handed, one right-handed. They both go to their wrong sides of the floor. What was otherwise a good-looking fast break for Switzerland. Now a perimeter bid that goes wide, and we're going to see a penalty here coming up to Portugal. And the referees are going to be quick to go get in between everybody. This second half has started off with some extracurriculars. Two minutes for holding is going to be the call. 55 on your screen, right in the middle. Winds up pulling his man down. It's Ethan Warlow. And now the official is going to call for a wipe over on that far side of the floor. Again, I'm going to call for everybody to make sure you follow along on the European Box Lacrosse socials. Keep your eyes out for, I know today over in Radotin they were doing a giveaway. Of course that's for the fans in attendance, but if you needed any extra motivation aside from the high quality lacrosse and maybe the best atmosphere I've ever experienced at one of these events, giveaways, free merch, potentially, could be your motivator. There is still time, if you're from out of town, to book a plane ticket and get your way down here. This tournament does go until July 4th. That is when the final will be played. You could get down here tomorrow if you wanted and still have plenty of lacrosse to take in. Although I would say maybe wait a couple of days for the temperature to die down a little bit, unless you do want the full experience that we've all been battling through. Then you have until tomorrow to get here, but Monday is when the temperatures are supposed to drop down. So take your pick your poison. Wait an extra day, beat the heat, or get down here and take in the full experience. But if you can't, these broadcasts are coming to you for free, and the highlights are on the Instagram, so give them a follow. It's Bruner at the point. He's been doing a ton of work on the power play, and they get another. The good start to the second half continues thanks to Thomas Shore. An underhand release on the run for the Swiss. The leaders are leading. As you can see Shore there, he was on the ground for a moment, got up, got the pass, and brings everybody on the Swiss bench to life once again. Now Stefan Svivel. What a first half he had. 2 goals back to back, both in transition. A couple of big hits. Portugal hollering for a penalty. Officials will keep their arms down. Now the Swiss are going to sandwich the Portugal defender. That was Lorenzo Amadori. Here's Patrick Shorey. Portugal going back into their zone as Suter takes it in. Swiss still need to get an extra guy on. They do now. Holenstein from the corner. Screen is set. Switzerland had a man go down. It was Raber. And that shot, as it goes off the corner boards, will roll all the way down the floor to Sven Beresfield. Now Pedro Nush. Righty's looking to do some work. This is Cruz. Cruz being worked on by Damian Brandenberger, and crashing into the netminder is Cruz. Switzerland have a couple of defenders right there to share some words, but everybody gets back up to their feet. Sven Beresfield appears to be all right, and Back to his casual stature, leaning on the crossbar. Switzerland look like they want to go to goal early in this clock. Can't beat Medeiros, dropping down to the butterfly. But now he needs someone to pass to. And there appears to be a penalty on the play, and it's going to go to Portugal. That's Cruz. I think that's Cruz, at least, from here. Oh, pardon me, it's Ethan Warlow. In frustration, just threw his stick onto the bench, but he's got to get that back to him and make the slow jaunt over to the penalty box. Second time this quarter now that Warlow's made his way over there. And now this four-man unit plus the addition of Medeiros. They need a kill here, trailing by 6th. 9 minutes to play in this quarter. Next whistle will bring a hydration break. Brunner. Holenstein this time is in the corner. Shoots through a defender. That goes off the netminder and off the glass, but it stays in play. Brunner has it at the point. Righty's doing some work, and then just missing that pass was Yannick Liponer. And that is going to be the hydration break that Portugal desperately needed. I mean, Switzerland needs as well. Portugal, limited reinforcements available. They'll take any break that they can get, and that gives us an opportunity to take a look at the, we'll call it out-of-town scoreboard. We'll just give you the scores from everything that we've seen today. It's our third day here at the European Box Lacrosse Championships. Norway took down Austria 12-8, the final score. Ireland beat the Netherlands. These all going down in the men's division, 17-5. A big win for them, rebounding from the overtime loss to Finland yesterday. The Finns won another game in overtime, 13-12 over England. Heard they had a huge comeback. Poland over Wales, 21-11. That game went on right here. 14-10 was the win in favor of Germany over Israel. Slovakia pulled one out against France, 16-12. That was the one right before this one. Already mentioned the Finland overtime game as we take our attention over to the women's division. The third and final game of the women's side of things is underway right now. It's an even score, 5-5 between Germany and England. Earlier this morning, Israel took down Ireland 7-4, and the Netherlands beat Finland 17-3. Oh, Portugal just trying to kill some more of this penalty. Hard pass across that just a little too tough to handle for Coutinho, and Switzerland are able to get it up. This is Holenstein. He sees a 2-on-1 forming. Do the trailer off the bench, and Medeiros will fall on top of that one. Now Cruz cruising to the goal, and he scores! Don't call it a vacation, just call it a destination cruise, as Portugal gets another one back thanks to Justin Cruz. And a shorthanded goal to boot. That's just too easy for the big man. Nobody is going to slow him down when he's driving downhill like that. Now there's a battle near center floor going down. The Portuguese player is Luis Vasconcelos, and for Switzerland, it's Erwin Tommen. Tommen is not letting Vasconcelos go anywhere, just sticking to him like glue. keep your eye on that battle. 94 for Switzerland, 23 for Portugal. Might that turn into some more? As a couple of big bodies being thrown against each other. Varlow out of the box, and he's just crashing and banging in the defensive zone. And look out, here is Switzerland. Almost closed out their man, but up in the play and able to get away from that pressure was Frank Vasconcelos. Things appear to be getting a little bit chippy here in the third quarter. 6.5 to play. 8 left to shoot. And that appears to be underneath of the goaltender. They saw the mesh ripple a little bit. I don't think anybody knows where this ball is. We may need to get a look at the camera behind the goal to see if this went in at all, or if it was just the goaltender's shaft that made the netting move. It does appear to be in his pads. And now fished free. I mean, it doesn't matter if it went in or not. There's no review here. Yeah, no goal. Shout out to the production crew again. They've got all the angles. Easy conclusion to come to. Medeiros almost does the splits. Now Brunner sidesteps center floor. Suter, nice jab step, got some space. He'll shoot right through the middle. Medeiros able to swallow it. The next whistle under 5 minutes, aside from a penalty being called, brings us to our media timeout for the third quarter. Here's Luis Vasconcelos. Left the ball behind. Check that, it's still in his stick somehow. Now it's knocked out and he's hauled down, and that is gonna be a penalty. With 5.5 to go, and look who it was that went at him, Erwin Tommen. I'm not sure if they've said something to each other throughout this game, but Tommen appears to be going right at Vasconcelos for some reason. And he will be penalized 2 minutes or less for holding. There he is, 94 in white. Good there, not good there. Portugal has scored a goal on their power play. Came in the second quarter. It was actually one of their most recent goals. It came before the goalie goal from Sean Medeiros. So that'll be back over against Portugal. Not a great start to their power play. Switzerland already has a shorthanded goal. Do they want another? Almost a devastating hit. Oh, and the ball just seemed to fall out of Brandon Kunick's stick. But now Zweifel in no rush whatsoever. He'll just kill as much of this penalty time as he can. We are under 5 minutes. The next whistle will bring our media timeout. Shot late in the clock. And with that whistle right on cue, there is the media timeout. So Switzerland up 11-6 over Portugal in the final 4.5 minutes of this third quarter. They're going to be right here on your screens when we come back.
Pivo z rodinného pivovaru, kde řemeslo a tradice jdou ruku v ruce.
Let's take a look at the game leaders in terms of points. Joseph Holenstein has been at the top of the list the entire game, and that is a theme that continues. Up to 5 points. Brandon Kunick with 4. And the captain, Stefan Zweifel, also with 4 under his belt. He has been leading this team in every which way, and he has been a massive part of his team being in front 11-6 over Portugal. If you missed it off the top, Portugal scored the first 2 goals of this game. They led 2-0. Switzerland just seemed like they were maybe panicking a little bit, ever so slightly. And then they just sort of figured it out. They got some power play success as well and have been off to the races ever since. Medeiros has that go off his chest into his stick, and there's the long bomb. Man, he can throw the ball. Always curious as well. I mean, I don't think Sean Medeiros falls into this category, but the goaltenders, I mean, from BC or from Ontario that are playing in this tournament, I mean, for the last, 2 months, 3 months or so, they're used to playing with the traditional wooden goaltender's stick. Obviously, bigger in size, bigger in terms of weight as well. And then you come over for a tournament like this where it's world lacrosse rules and you got to use the NLL style spoon goaltender's stick. You know, the adjustment period, getting used to throwing with that thing again, it's got to take a little bit of time, I would think. You know what, actually, I've been messaging a little bit on Instagram throughout this game with a goaltender, Alan McLucas from Scotland. Second shout out of the game, Alan. But maybe you can chime in a little bit. What is the adjustment like for a goaltender that is playing these last few months with a wooden stick, and then you have to immediately adjust? I mean, I'm sure the passing ability with these smaller sticks is much better, but has to take a little bit to get used to the weight as well as the much more open 5-hole just with the naturally smaller head of the stick. But then you have a goaltender like Medeiros or some of these other European goaltenders that are most typically just using these smaller sticks already. And Medeiros, one of those guys, and he's showing off his ability to throw the ball all throughout this game. A couple penalties will go either way. Have to imagine these are going to be offsetting. And 5-on-5 should continue. We'll just wait for some confirmation. So they will both go up on the board. Slashing and cross-checking going 1 per side. And we'll see some 4-on-4. And I hate to say it for the Portugal fans watching from afar, but this benefits Switzerland. They've got the extra gas in the tank, and the extra room on the floor is, that's going to be tough for Portugal to have to deal with unless they can find some open space. Noosh is one of the guys who can create that space. Cruz, as we've seen, likes to go to the goal. Here's Noosh, back to Cruz, hands ready to shoot. Kept to the perimeter, Now he's going to drop his shoulder and drive one-handed. Rises that over the goal. That'll deflect off the glass and back over center. Patrick Shorey started off this play. Now slowly conserving energy on his way to the bench. There's a little over 2 minutes left in this quarter. Medeiros knocks that over to the corner. Another reset goes the way of Switzerland. Lane opens up through the middle. Backdoor feed goes across. Brunner can't get it on the goal. Bounces back over to Holenstein. Feeds to the corner. Opposite of him. That play worked out on a power play goal earlier in this quarter for Switzerland. Holenstein now onto his wrong side. Tries to put that down low. There was a Swiss forward that went down for a moment. It was Thomas Shore. Final 90 seconds of this third quarter. Perimeter pressure starting to form. It was Tommen making his way to the outside, and then a hard cross-check. That's going to be a penalty against Switzerland. Believe it's going to go to Damian Brandenberger. And Portugal gets one back. Well, the open floor, it turns out it did benefit them despite going against them. Is that going to be another one courtesy of Noosh? We'll have to get another look. I was looking down at my stat sheet as they went to the goal. That's Noosh right there on the right of your screen. He puts it 5-hole. May have just caught Beresville kind of mid-step. Out of position for a second as he goes to recover. Just not quite in position, and it's another late quarter goal for Switzerland. Their goalie goal from Medeiros came in the dying seconds of the half. Now just 2 seconds left until 5-on-5 will commence. Cruz protects. Bounces it to the outside. Kolish scored a weird one on the power play in this game. Noosh, the goal scorer, back onto the floor. From the corner. Looked like he wanted a chance at the dunk. He'll get it to the outside, telegraphed it, it's deflected down the floor. Kunik, he's got it, and a lane to the goal. He'll stop up in the crease and scores. Oh, a cheeky one. Completely stops, dead in his tracks, right at the edge of the crease. I mean, I don't know if anybody watching is a fan of the Mighty Ducks franchise, so only some of you may understand this reference. But there is a player in that movie, Luis Mendoza, and his whole gimmick is that he's so fast that he can't stop. And then in the big championship game against Team Iceland, the Mighty Ducks have Luis Mendoza on a breakaway. He stops finally on the crease, and he scores a goal. That latest Switzerland goal from Brandon Kunik, eerily similar to Luis Mendoza from the Mighty Ducks. Look it up. Great trilogy, D2, best of the three. More fourth quarter action coming up when we return. I love coming back into a broadcast giggling. We just showed on the board the latest Switzerland goal from Brandon Kunik, excuse me. And I mean, shout out to Lee Jackman. Got a message from him in the intermission, asking for some more D2 references. Brother, I don't think they're going to come up as naturally as that one did. I mean, that's a one-to-one comparison to Luis Mendoza. Also, I mean, Lee Jackman, assuming you are listening, shout out to you, man. I heard you donated your hair. That's just genuinely, what an incredible move that is. And congrats on the win earlier this afternoon for Slovakia over France. If you missed it, make sure you go back and tune into that one because it was close until it wasn't. 8-8, if I remember correctly, was the tie heading into the fourth quarter. And then Slovakia turned things on. Getting a look at the shots stats here, they pretty heavily favor Switzerland. Naturally, they're probably going to have some more shots wide, and that is confirmed thanks to our producers. And the face-off battle, boy, oh boy. Just shy of 62% favoring the Swiss. No wonder they've had the ball as much as they have had and taking advantage on the power play, 40% to the 25 for Portugal. And I'm not at all going to say that Portugal being outclassed in this game. I genuinely think it's just outnumbered. If you missed it earlier on my roster sheet here for Portugal, I've got 18 players, and that includes a goaltender. And also, I mean, one goaltender, I should say. Sean Medeiros doing everything in his power, but does not really have the benefit of being pulled from this game. Meanwhile, for Switzerland, as they go on a 2-on-1, trying to get their first of the fourth, and Medeiros got the arm up in time. Flashy save from him. But Switzerland, and including two goaltenders, they've got 23 on their roster. So just sure numbers automatically favor Switzerland in this case. And for those of you who have stuck around for any or all of this game, appreciate you. My name's Tino Farah. Hopefully you'll stick around for some more in the coming days as well. This is going to be it for me today at least. But I'll be back tomorrow over in Radoteen with my good buddy Teddy Jenner. The women's division game going on at 4:30 local time between the Netherlands and Czechia, and then the nightcap 7:30 local time between the hosts and Germany. That should be a good game. Germany fortunate enough to have Chris Bushi on their roster. Do me a favor, go check out the stat sheet from Germany's win over Italy yesterday. You might be astounded by the production of Chris Bushi. But on the other hand, you also might not be astounded. Just another day at the office, you know? Well, Switzerland has taken a penalty. And Portugal, I mean, they've got a couple on the power play today. And the goal scorer, or one of the goal scorers on the power play, Austin Kolish, he did get a weird one. He's parked right in the middle. Just kind of running rover. It's a nice save over across, and I believe Switzerland has put in their next goaltender, Alexander Meyer, by the looks of things, in goal. Giving Sven Beresville the rest of the game off, and an early test for Meyer. He has to sprawl back. Will indeed make the save. Switzerland has a man open in the middle. Medeiros with a nice save on Brunner. Here's Shore. Kunik. He'll get it back, or at least Brunner thought about it. Now he'll confirm that decision. Kunik across to Shore. Looking glove side off the end boards, and Switzerland unable to corral it and keep it in the zone. That'll be a back over call against the Swiss. Portugal. You just got to feel for him, man. Just exhausted right now. Remember to stick around after the game. We'll bring you a post-game interview. Make sure to pull one of the Switzerland players. A hard hit over there into the numbers of Noosh. He goes down, and now it's a breakaway for Kunik. In alone on Medeiros, and a great save. Rebound away from the middle of the floor. I'll tell you one thing for sure. Sean Medeiros is not quitting in this game at all. Score does not matter to him. He is doing everything that he can. And Switzerland's Koenig wants another chance at this battle. And Medeiros got a piece, and it's batted away. 2 straight breakaway stops on Brandon Koenig of Switzerland, coming from Sean Medeiros. Aaron pass, Switzerland take it back. Hoser in front, Medeiros makes another left arm save. Now Brunner is going to forecheck. And Portugal, they're going to burn their final timeout of this game. There was only going to be 2 seconds left to cross over the center line, and this is likely going to be a turnover regardless. The shot clock will stay at 22, I believe, and they're deep in their zone. All they can hope for is to just throw this down the floor unless they can come up with some kind of set play. But once again, just the exhaustion, as you could tell. Lorenzo Amador, I mean, he was just eating those cross checks from Patrick Brunner. Looked like he had, I mean, nothing in him to try to make that dash, and we'll get another look at just these dominating numbers that favor Switzerland. Ground balls, the power plays. I mean, that's not dominating, I wouldn't say, but still a slight edge. Face-off percentage, shooting percentage, because of the less shots in totality, favor Portugal, but the overall shots, more than a 2-to-1 margin in favor of the Swiss. And that man right there has been busier than ever. So the pressure from Switzerland, well, they do put a few extra seconds up on the clock. Portugal will be able to clear. Luis Vasconcelos has made his way on. By the looks of things, no Erwin Tommen. So those two have had some sort of an edge in this game for some reason. Medeiros with another save. Switzerland with another reset. Give Medeiros a stick save, and he'll dive across his crease to hang on to that. Low pass, but it was handled well by Amador. Portugal will just settle with batting that out of the air, not with full control of it. Holenstein finds a bit of room. Glove save by Medeiros. Holenstein trying to tell everybody to slow things down. No need to rush. I mean, this whole game feels like a little bit of a blur, if I'm being honest. I think the next whistle should give us the hydration break, unless that's already come. Medeiros makes another save. I just say play on at this point. But, you know, safety protocol. Can't blame them. Although Portugal, we've seen them in this game just kill an entire 30-second clock while in possession for the sole purpose of getting a buzzer, getting a whistle to be able to get a break without using their timeout. Cruz was gliding through the middle, pass towards him. Now Tommen doing battle with Noosh. There is the whistle, and there is the hydration break. There's a look at Meyer, came in for the fourth quarter. He's made a few saves, and I mean, he's got the freshest legs of anybody here, and he's got the energy to jog off to the bench and get some water from his goaltending partner. Sven Beresville played the vast majority of this game, and we can take another look at the scoring summary here. 12-7 in favor of Switzerland, and you can see, I mean, there's a few goals in a row for Switzerland at the top of the screen, making it 8-3, 8-4, and 8-5. Sean Medeiros, yes, that is the goaltender. If you missed it, he scored a goalie goal at the end of the second quarter. But then Switzerland just turned it back on. You know, there's another pair in the midst of all of that from Cruz and Noosh. But most recently from Brandon Kunik. And Switzerland, since they got through that 2-0 deficit, have just been in complete control of this game. Those Swiss bells are going again, loud and proud for Switzerland. Raber off the set play, driving downhill, couldn't settle the pass. Now he'll forecheck. Everybody will separate free from the pile. Portugal going up, it's Mateo Fernandez. Faked the drop, kept his feet moving, and is able to get it over. But three defenders coming back to swarm around the Portugal forward. Kolish finding a little room. He's going to drive and shoot, and a nice save by Meyer. Squeezes that between his legs. His biggest save since coming in at the start of this quarter. Medeiros with another save. That goes wide. Chance now to go to goal. They scored, jumping into the air. And another one that beats Medeiros low. And he'll do a quick lap to just try to reset himself a little bit. But the Swiss fans are feeling good about themselves. Right above the bench, they are singing along as their team appears to be on their way to a 3-0 record. They've taken down Slovakia. They've taken down France. And now all signs point to them being 7 minutes away from taking down Portugal. They have never scored less than 14 in a game. They are one away from keeping that streak alive. Brunner was rolling, pass was behind him. Now Suter outside to Brunner. Raber is open. Raber finds topside. He's got room to shoot, and that goes wide. Now picked up by Owen Varlow. He's going to start to run, and the lane opens up for him to go on a breakaway in, and saved by Meyer. Varlow goes crashing into the netminder, who gets back up, also helps Varlow up. Good bit of sportsmanship on display. Now Holenstein with it again. Switzerland, wisely, they appear to just be running through their motions. They got to make sure that everything is as dialed in as possible as things continue to march along here at the European Championships. Again, they're 3-0, or they have a pretty good chance at being 3-0 by the end of this one. And just looking over at their schedule right now, they do not play again until Monday, so they'll have Sunday off. And what a benefit that is for them. Just a chance to hopefully stay in the hotel in some air conditioning, beat the heat in that way, watch some film, heal up, whatever you got to do to take on Scotland, who also beat this Portugal team in their opening game of the tournament 18-3. So that'll be something that these two teams have in common, unless Portugal is able to make some sort of a magical comeback here. But they've got 5 minutes to go. Portugal player goes down hard. Shore. Holenstein. Portugal, they do just need 6 to tie this game, but the clock is their enemy right now. One whistle away from our final media timeout. Another save made. I mean, if you're looking for, you know, your man of the match for Portugal, so to speak, look no further than Medeiros. How many shots has he seen in this game? And give him another one, but that one gets past him. Switzerland gets up to 14 for their 3rd straight game. And that appears to be some sort of milestone goal for Moritz Ziegler. He wanted that ball as soon as he scored it. I mean, you oftentimes see a teammate go over and ask the official for a ball. It's not too often. I mean, I'm getting a flashback to a story that Keegan Bell once told me. Keegan Bell of the Saskatchewan Rush, or one time of the Saskatchewan Rush in the NLL. His first career goal, he told me the story about how he had to go to the referee and ask for the ball. But aside from maybe just that one, as well as Moritz Ziegler. Oh, and another one gets through. Well, now for the first time in this tournament, Switzerland have eclipsed 14. Jamie Burkhardt. Boots on the ground do not matter. He catches that one while in the air and pots it home. And there's going to be a penalty to Portugal once they pick up their next. Sidestepping the crease, the ball goes down. Portugal didn't want to pick it up, but that will be a crease call. And now we're not going to get our immediate timeout, or at least we shouldn't. It's not supposed to come when a penalty is being called. Let's take a look. It came right off the face-off. Yeah, I mean, the initial contact is fine, but the lack of letting up is where the problem lies. So now our next whistle should bring us to our media timeout. Thomas Schur. Brunner will oftentimes quarterback this power play as he's barking orders from the point. Wants the lefties to get their touches first. Now Brunner threatening the shot. Holenstein hammers that wide of the goal, and it gets stuck on the net. And with that whistle, we will get our final media timeout of this game. The Swiss are in full control, leading over Portugal. More when we return.
The Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high-quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world.
Well, our final break here in Prague is in the books. 3:13 is what remains on the clock. Make sure you stick around just after the game. Once the players complete their handshakes, I'm going to hop down to the floor and try to grab Stefan Zweifel for a quick chat, the captain of Switzerland. And the reason I want to talk to him specifically is because he had those 2 goals back-to-back for the Swiss earlier in this game. And that was after a point where Portugal, I mean, they were playing pretty good. Yes, at that point, Switzerland had gone back in front by 1 already on the goal from Kunik. But Zweifel, the captain, put his team on his back with 2 quick transition goals, less than a minute apart, and really put themselves into that kind of cruising position. By that point, they were now up by 4 and just felt like they were in complete control of the game. And, also want to find out from him what was said on the bench. What was the conversation like on the Switzerland bench when they fell down 2-0 early on in this game? One-timer, somehow that'll be stopped, and it's taken back into the crease by the Portugal defender, but it does not matter. A holding penalty coming up to the Portuguese, and chalk that up as bad to worse for them. So barring a goal from Switzerland, that means they will be down a man for pretty well the remainder of this game. That is a slow march to the box for Mateo Fernandez. What a save that was again for Medeiros. How many times have you heard me say that? Oh, we've seen football be played a couple of times here today. There's a little bit more of it. Got to clear it some way. Ethan Warlow knocks it down with a hard toe punt as Medeiros makes another save. He's got a man up the floor. There's the long bomb. The pass was just short. Reaching backwards. Tyler Cruz. Now he takes a slash behind the play. He's continuing to have words with the Swiss forward that was back. It's Brunner. So Medeiros makes another stop while all that was going on. And Portugal has a player come out of the box. And that's going to be a penalty shot. I'm not sure why he was sent out of there. A legal substitution is the call. And if you're unaware, World Lacrosse rules, if there is an illegal substitution called at a point in the game where the entire duration of that penalty cannot be carried out, it's an automatic penalty shot. So that means if in under 2 minutes left in the game, not in a quarter, in regulation, if there is an illegal substitution penalty, it is an automatic penalty shot for the opposing team. That's why you read the rule books, folks. Loris Moser will mosey in slowly. On his toes, puts it into the stick of Medeiros. Takes a peek behind him just in case. But the save is indeed made. See, that's the defenseman special that I would have shot back home in BC. Don't shoot 5-hole. Don't shoot 5-hole. Don't shoot 5-hole. And then we shoot 5-hole. Just me? I don't know. 90 seconds remain. Portugal just trying to get out of this game as injury-free as humanly possible. And they're a little over a minute away from doing exactly that. Next up on their schedule will be tomorrow. They'll be right back here to face off against Slovakia. So Medeiros came over and made a great stretching save once again. But they've got to find a way to reset. Slovakia is going to be a tall order, especially if the limited numbers continue for Portugal. Not for a lack of effort. It's Meyer with a swing and a miss. He'll just shovel that over his shoulder. Final 20-second count is on. Again, stick around after the game. I'm going to go wrangle up Stefan Zweifel for a quick conversation. As Cruz puts that off the top of the glass, goes out of play. That's a souvenir for somebody, whoever wants to sprint over and pick it up. But that'll do it. Switzerland flexes their muscles for the third straight game, a perfect 3-0 record. 15-7 is the final score over Portugal, and I'm gonna have to put down the microphone real quick, so bear with me, folks. Like I said, gonna go chat with the Switzerland captain and get his thoughts on this game. So I'll bid farewell for now. Thank you for joining me. My name's been Tino Fair for the entire crew here on the broadcast. Thank you very much for joining us. Stick around for the conversation. We'll see you tomorrow for some more action at the European Box Lacrosse Championships. We're here with the captain of Team Switzerland, Stefan Zweifel, and I want to ask you right off the bat, your team goes down 2-0 early in this game, but you guys battle back and take complete control of this game. What was the momentum, what was said on the bench to be able to get you guys back in control of this game?
Well, it's just the beginning of the game, so just go on. It's nothing. It's the first couple minutes. Messed it up. We had to come back, we did it. We believed in ourselves. That's what we did.
You had 2 big goals for your group as well, and that was at a point where you guys were still finding your momentum, and it really put you in a position to take control of this game. What do you remember about those 2 goals?
Well, it was twice the same situation, basically. Yeah, top right, everything was open, so I took it.
Everybody here is obviously battling through the heat. I mean, I'm sure you guys are exhausted as you are with all the equipment that you have to wear and everything. How are you guys dealing with these conditions as well as you are, considering now you're 3-0 in the tournament?
So it's the same for the other team. Just ignore it. Got an advantage. Celebrate it. It's awesome. It's hot. Let's go.
Congratulations on the win. Good luck.